quick question. Is Konami back? Because it feels like 2024 is somewhat of a resurgence, if you will, for Konami. We'll get into it because you may be saying, like, Konami? Like, they're back?
Yes.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? But this game right here has me looking into Konami a lot more. They've had a pretty strong year so far. The back end of the year is loaded, and this game is fire.
Oh, dude. So the game that we've been playing a ton right now, came out August 6th, 2024, is Signy All Guns Blazing on the PS5. It's also available on Xbox and PC. It's an awesome, unique shooter shmup that I haven't heard anybody talk about.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous game. It's so fun. And then they've released a bunch of other things this year where I'm like, dang, they're kind of back, dude.
Yeah.
They're like, they've had a few years where it's like they put out maybe 1 or 2 games, or they put out like a Contra game that a lot of people didn't like, or they've been focusing on like Yu-Gi-Oh games. Like it's just weird.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of collections. So they've been paying a lot of attention to their legacy content,
which
or
is
legacy
awesome.
games.
Yeah.
So they, I think it was back in 2019, they had the Contra collection, the Castlevania collection. In 22, we got that Turtles Cowabunga collection.
Which is awesome, yep.
But 22, that was like pretty much their standalone thing. There was no mainline entries. 23, we got a Metal Gear Solid collection, but again, just a collection, and that wasn't received very well, by the way.
Yeah.
We got Super Bomberman R2. I don't know anything about Bomberman R2. I played the first one and I really liked that.
Yeah, the first one was awesome.
But that was pretty much it in 23. But let's look at 2024 and why we may be saying they're back. So, early part of the year, we got the Felix the Cat collection.
Yes.
Limited run games. The NES and Game Boy game is on that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
But again, it's all collections, so it's like, okay,
Yeah.
but still kind of cool they're paying homage to an old IP.
Yeah, and I thought it was cool, like Felix the Cat. That's not a major... You wouldn't think they would go back there.
Yeah,
It's obvious. Metal Gear's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Contra's pretty obvious. Then they did the Rocket Knight Resparked collection, which has the Rocket Knight, Sparkster games, etc.
That's an awesome ode to the 16-bit era.
Yeah, and then a highly sought-after Konami game on the Game Boy Advance, Ninja 5.0, went up for pre-order, I believe, in March, and is going to be released still digitally as well, but you can get that on modern consoles. Now, these are all reusing old games, which is awesome, but it's like, where's the new stuff? But was it February?
It was actually March of this year.
Contra Operation Galuga, and that game is hammer time.
Yes, the Contra game that Konami fans have been asking for, they finally released. It goes back to the old style of run and gun, side-scrolling, but they modernized it. There are odes to like the first game, the second game, Alien Wars, Hardcore, but it's a unique, fresh game.
Yep.
It's hard, it's co-op, the power-ups are amazing. When this game came out, I was like, this is an awesome Contra entry. This game's phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people maybe had a bad taste in their mouth over Contra Rogue Core, which I still think is better than people gave it credit for, but I think it was a game people weren't expecting from a Contra title.
If Contra wasn't on the name, the game would have done better. It's not a Contra game, but the game is still fun.
Yeah.
It's just different. But this, Contra Operation Galuga, is going back to the original roots, and it's like, hell yes.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for this.
And I didn't hear enough about this game when it came out. I just don't feel like there was enough people talking about it. There was a little bit of buzz around the Nintendo Direct that it came out. Then it came out, people were just like, oh, cool, Contra. And the reason I want to talk about this is like, folks, retro gamers, if you want companies to keep doing this stuff and using the IPs that we know and love from yesteryear, you gotta support them when they do it right. It's okay to not agree with all the decisions they make, and if they do something shitty, call it out and say, hey, it's shitty. But when they do something good, you better be there and support it, especially if you call yourself a Contra fan. If you don't have this game, that's a you problem. But I digress.
It's incredible.
Physical versions are on the way.
Yep.
They did all that stuff. So then we get to this summer, we get to Signy. This is a game, we have a full review coming on the channel.
Yes,
That's how much we love this. We beat this the first night we got it.
Yes, so we've been playing this nonstop for the past couple of days. It came out about 2 weeks ago from the time you're seeing this video. This game is phenomenal, and this is a game that, when you texted me about it, I was like, what? I had never heard of this game. I didn't even know this game was out. I was like, Konami released a shooter? But then we played it. It's so phenomenal, and it's pretty cheap too. I think it's like $30.
Yeah.
But I guess that it is a shooter, so it's not like a full game. But still, for a brand new game by Konami, $30. We beat it the first night. It's so fun. We've been playing it since. It's incredible.
Yeah, so published by Konami, developed by Keel Works. The $29.99 price point definitely jumped out. It's a new release, physical copy on Amazon, at least as of the time that we're filming this. That is the price. I don't even know what it's going for digitally.
Yep.
Maybe the same, maybe lower. But a very unique aspect of this game, and we're going to do a full review on the channel, so we won't go too far into detail, but is the longevity, if you will, of powering things up, which require more playthroughs than just one. There's just so many unique components. Again, we'll do a full review on this here in the next day or so.
Oh, dude, it's got us. It's got our hooks in us. It's such a fun game. But then, so that came out 2 weeks ago, and then there's more.
Yeah, this fall could be big.
There's more Konami coming out. This is like one of their biggest years they've had in a long time. So later this fall, they're releasing the Silent Hill 2 remake, which could be amazing because Capcom did the Resident Evil remakes and those were phenomenal.
Yeah.
I was nervous when they first announced this because I was like, Konami, they're not making great decisions. But this year has changed my mind on that. This year has been like, okay, they are making good decisions. They're back. They're making things good again.
Yeah.
So now I'm excited for Silent Hill 2 remake. And then on top of that, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater 3 remake. Oh, dude, what a power year.
Yeah, I think this fall, and not to get too drama filled here, I think these two releases are make or break for the credibility of Konami as a whole.
Yep.
I think people have lost a lot of respect for them and appreciation for them over the years because of just the lack of them putting out quality stuff. If this Silent Hill 2 remake, people adore that game.
It's one of the best Silent Hill games.
If they mess that up, that's not going to be good.
Yeah,
and then
that's why I'm
Gear,
a little bit worried.
And you know how hardcore Metal Gear fans are. If they mess up the 3 remake, it could just be. It could be This is. There's no other time that I have maybe felt that for a company like this fall is make or break.
Yes,
it's do or die.
But if both those games land and are home runs, 2024 is going to be the year of Konami. I feel like it's not obviously their best year as a company since they've been around since.
Oh, for sure.
Dude, 8-bit era Konami. One of the best developers, they were so big they had to start another company, Ultra, to release games. 16-bit era, they're freaking on fire. Then you get into Gen 5, they're releasing like Castlevania Symphony of the Night and all this stuff. Gen 6, they're releasing some really cool Contra games. But then after that, after like Gen 6, I feel like it kind of slows down. You get a few like Metal Gear Solids here and there, you get a few Silent Hills in there, but they kind of just fell off the wagon at that point. They were like king of the world and then gone. So it's been I feel like it's been 20 years since we've had a good Konami year, and this year could be it.
Yeah, and then still swirling out there, it's been kind of radio silent. I think they started talking about this a couple years ago. The Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remasters.
Ooh, that could be really cool, yeah.
I think a lot of people are hyped for it, but it just kind of went... I think something maybe happened with the development team on that one, and they're trying to pick up the pieces. But that could be huge as well. If that happens to land at the back half of 2024, let's call it December, right in time for the holidays, and they've got all these bangers out, could be a big deal.
I'm like so jacked because I love Konami. They make amazing games. Obviously, like some of the best IPs are Konami, Contra, Castlevania, Gradius, all this stuff.
JACKAL. Let's get some hype going for JACKAL. Here's something else I want to mention. They haven't forgot about JACKAL because just recently on the Arcade Archives and the Nintendo Switch, the arcade version of JACKAL got released. Nobody's talking about that either.
That's badass.
It is. So at least they know about it.
I wish it was like the NES version because the arcade version is a little bit different, but it's still cool that you can play it on your Switch. Like that's really cool, really modern. If they can finish this year off strong, I just don't even know what they're cooking and what they're working on for 2025. 2025 could be, dude. They could also bring back like so many other.
For sure.
Like, dude, so they put out Signy, which is an amazing shmup, but what if they brought us Gradius 6?
Yeah.
Like, the last Gradius game was Gradius 5 on the PS2.
Yeah.
That game is amazing. What if they brought us, like, a modern Castlevania game? We talked about this, like, before we were recording. Like, what if they did, like, a God of War style Castlevania game?
With some cinematics
Yeah,
and
where you
stuff.
play as Simon Belmont, but you're, like, with your whip and you're... Dude, if that came out and it's, like, a unique spin on Castlevania... People might get upset and be like, this isn't a platformer, but like, that would be so cool. Or like, they have so many amazing IPs that they could just make amazing in the modern light. And I think with games like Signy shows that they can do it.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, if they... Hopefully the ball can start rolling.
Well, I just, I'm so happy Felix the Cat got a collection release, and I'm so happy that Ninja 5.0 got a re-release, because, from a price point of a retro cartridge for physical collectors, it's probably a little out of reach or rich for people's blood. But gosh dang it, if we're giving little Felix a little petting, and we're giving the old Ninja 5.0 boy a little pat on the head, let's pay some love to JACKAL.
Oh, dude, get a JACKAL too.
Yeah, let's go.
That'd be so cool, dude.
Yeah, just even an 8-bit version of JACKAL 2 or 16-bit version.
Yeah, dude. Let's go. Let's go. But 2024, Konami is back. I'm nervous but hopeful.
Yes.
For these last couple of games coming out because of all the stuff that has been released this year. That like every time a game comes out, I go, okay. Like, Contra, this shooter, freaking the Rocket Knight Resparked. That was an awesome collection. Felix the Cat. It's like they know what they're doing. I don't know if they got a new team or or if they but they're back, baby. They're back.
As a gamer, all I know is the gaming world is better with a healthy and thriving Konami.
Yes.
So I really hope they finish 2024 on a freaking high note, and we can say that 2024 was the year of Konami. We'll catch you guys on the next episode of the one and only Gaming Off the Grid.